Why did God choose Abraham and Sarai and not someone else? Many say it was because Abraham had faith, because he stood out as a man of vision or moral strength. But that is not what the text says. The story begins from the opposite side, not from strength, but from inability. Abraham and Sarai are not a couple full of potential. They are a couple facing a clear limit. Sarai was barren, she had no child. In the language of Genesis, this means that the gift of multiplication given to humanity in the beginning is now blocked. And here lies the key. The choice of God does not reward ability, it reveals purpose. God gives what is missing and then asks that the gift be cherished and lived in truth. The covenant with Abraham is not a transaction but a lesson, a way to teach what a divine gift really means. From the first chapter of Genesis, the human being is defined not as man or woman alone, but as both together. Male and female, he created them, and he called their name Adam. This is crucial. In God's view, the man and the woman together form the human being, the image bearer, the one capable of receiving both gifts, the moral likeness of God and the power to bring forth life. When the story reaches Abraham and Sarai, this unity faces its deepest trial. They are still one flesh, still human, yet unable to give life. And right there, God begins his plan. He chooses them precisely because they cannot. The couple who lacks the gift becomes the stage where the meaning of the gift can be understood. Only those who do not have can learn what it means to receive. Only those who know absence can value presence. This is why the covenant includes both names. Abraham and Sarai are both renamed. Together they enter the promise. The change is not decorative. It marks the restoration of identity as human, according to Genesis 1. The covenant is not made with a man alone, but with the pair who represents humanity as moral and relational unity. When Sarai proposes Hagar, it is not an act of rebellion but a human attempt to repair what nature denied. God does not punish the act, but he sets the boundary. My covenant I will establish with Isaac. In other words, human solutions may produce facts, but they cannot define meaning. The promise belongs to the one who receives, not to the one who improvises. The sign of the covenant, the cut of circumcision, is not a ritual of superiority, but a visible oath in flesh. In Hebrew, to make a covenant means literally to cut one. That cut, placed on the organ of generation, says one simple thing: life is not property. It is gift. The one who carries that mark remembers, in every act of life, that the power to create is not his own, and that every generation depends on truth and conscience. After this covenant, the voice of God says, "Walk before me and be blameless." From this moment on, Abraham's life takes a different direction. The gift of multiplication is restored, but it is now placed under moral order. The two blessings from Genesis, the image and the fruitfulness, are brought together again. Life and truth are meant to coexist. Faith for Abraham is not about believing in the impossible. It is about walking under promise, about aligning his steps with the truth he has learned. His path is not perfect, but it is conscious. Faith becomes movement under a word, not submission to a myth. Sarai stands beside him not as a secondary figure, but as co-subject of the promise. The text makes this clear: Sarah will bear you a son. Isaac's birth is not a miracle for display but a statement of meaning, that the gift is restored where it was missing, and that life given under promise is different from life taken by instinct. That is why Isaac is called the child of the covenant, the child of promise. His birth unites the two gifts of Genesis once again, image and life. The covenant has succeeded. The gift is understood, received, and carried with responsibility. From that point on, every descendant is called a child of the promise, not because of blood, but because of the memory of that oath. They carry in their lineage the same truth, that life is sacred because it was once absent, and that fruitfulness without conscience is no blessing at all. God chose Abraham and Sarai because through them the human story could be recentered on truth. The covenant is not about possession, but about understanding. The sign of the cut reminds every generation that the gift of life must be lived with respect, gratitude, and integrity. This is the meaning of divine choice, not selection by merit, but education through lack. The barren couple becomes the place where the human learns again how to live as image bearer, responsible, grateful, awake. And that is why God chose Abraham and Sarai, because they were the only ones who could understand the value of a gift by having lived without it. But what about the sacrifice of Isaac? It's only a myth. God never asked for such a thing. It never crossed his mind. That story was added later. We've already explained it in another video. Please watch it on our channel or visit our website for plenty of articles and updates from our ministry.